Simple can be okay sometimes. RPGs don't always have to be super complex, over-bloated 80-hour grind sessions. Having never played an ease game in my life, I found Origin to be a solid, simple, satisfying adventure. Welcome to completion number 38 of the Potato Backlog project. For more information on the project, see the links below. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video for the Johnny Tomato approved Taterator, and let's talk about Ys Origin. Coming into this completion, I was totally unfamiliar with the Ys franchise of games, so I actually did a little bit of reading after completing the game. It turns out that Origin is a prequel story-wise to all the Ys games that have already been released at the time. Ys Origin was originally released in 2006 for Windows only. It was eventually given a Steam release in 2012, and later ported to PlayStation Vita, PS4, Xbox, and Switch between the years 2017 and 2020. I purposefully didn't read up on the franchise before playing it, as I wanted to see what the game was like without any outside info on my part. There aren't a lot of franchises left out there that I don't know at least a little bit about. So this was a great chance to go into something completely blind. No preconceived notions about how it should or shouldn't play. No idea about the characters or the world itself. I actually thought Ys Origin was gonna be a turn-based RPG. It turns out to be more along the lines of an action RPG. Your character levels through experience from enemy kills, but you don't decide which stats you level up. You gain abilities through exploration, and outside of deciding what you spend your crystals on for passive game boosts, the game takes a lot of the traditional RPG decision making off your hands. With the linearity of leveling and the ability gaining in the game, it leaves you free to concentrate on exploring and mastering the combat system, which feels like the focus the developers wanted to put on it anyway. At the beginning of the game, you're given a choice between two characters to start your first playthrough. Each character plays differently with different abilities, and though the main story beats unfold the same, the character story and relationships are unique to each individual character. I decided to play as Unica, who has no magic abilities. Her combat revolves around melee and special abilities you acquire early on in the game. You find wind, lightning, and fire charms, which can be switched between freely during combat. Even though the system itself wasn't what I would call super deep, the excellent controls made the game feel really fun to play. The movement feels great after you acquire the abilities to dash and jump and double jump. There are herbs and potions that you pick up from fallen enemies. These add passive boosts to your characters that run on timers that keep filling up the more bad guys you kill in sequence. The armor system is also kept fairly simple. You'll find chest and leg pieces that can be fortified once to be maxed out, and every couple levels of the tower you'll find another piece. You can also upgrade your weapon by finding a special ore and giving it to your buddy at base camp. It's all very surface level, and the depth of the game seems to be kept simple on purpose. Any complex systems like crafting, armor upgrades, weapon advancement, it's all made easy to understand, or it's just taken right out of the player's control and kind of done in the background. After completing your first playthrough, you unlock time attack and speedrun options, and you start to see why the game was designed the way it was, and why they made some of the choices that they did. I think it was made for multiple playthroughs, and the combat was designed around quick and kind of fun fighting. The story, being an actual origin story as the game name would suggest, seems to set things up for the story in the other games. All the things that happen in the game would probably be pretty cool to watch and play through if you were a fan of the series and had played the other games. It works well enough solo, but didn't quite hit any of the emotionally impactful stuff it was going for at times. I didn't really know these characters, and it kind of felt like it introduced some of them like I should know. Essentially, there are two goddesses who look after a land called Ys, and evil comes and threatens the land. You come down from this floating sky thing as a naive new recruit from this band of holy knights, and you set off on an adventure to figure things out. The entirety of the game and story take place inside of this giant tower. Everything in the game progresses as you make your way further up the tower until the finale, which takes place at the top of the tower. It was an okay story, but not really something that got me interested in finding and playing the other Ys games from the series. Nothing that I would go talk to a friend and say, oh man, you gotta play Ys Origin, it's absolutely insane, it's must play. There's one standout piece from the game though, and that is the boss fights. I wasn't expecting them to all be so unique and offer the different challenges that they did. Visually, they were really cool, and the plus side of an action RPG means that the fights can all have a different feel gameplay wise. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoy classic turn-based RPGs when they're done right, but here they definitely took advantage of the type of combat they had and designed some interesting boss fights for the players to work through. My Unica playthrough only took me about 8 to 10 hours to roll credits. The game is designed to be played through as each character to see all the different sides of the story, but I think for me the one playthrough was enough. The one missed opportunity for me was the style with which the floors were designed. Visually, they each have a distinct look and kind of theme. The enemies are designed to fit in with it. There's a fire floor, water, sand, but the things you do on each floor to advance to the next floor all end up kind of being the same. Usually it's fight some bad guys to find an item, item, which leads to a key, and the key leads to a boss fight. There are a couple smaller things to figure out here and there, and some pretty simple puzzles, but for the most part, that's the gist of it. And it's not horrible. It just makes it so it's not really something I want to replay again. If I was into speedruns though, this is a game I could see myself trying to get good times in. It's pretty fun to play. 2 happy potato faces out of 5. I understand what kind of game they are trying to make here. I don't mind that it's a simple to understand and simple to play game. What brought it under the 3 for me was the repetition of the floors. With the game and story confined only to the tower itself, they did do a great job with the boss battle variety, but the stuff you had to do to get there ended up being a little repetitive and got a little boring near the end. Now with that, the Backlog project rolls on. Thank you so much for watching. Big shout outs to the Top Tater, Macho Migo. Thank you so much for your support. If you're interested in joining a membership of the YouTube channel, click join and watch the crazy little video there. Be kind to yourselves and others that deserve it. We're on to the next one. It's day 19 since the launch of Mortal Kombat 1 and Murphy still doesn't have the game, so that tells you the state of the game. This is kind of blooperless. This is blooper. There's no bloopers here. Those two, I didn't make enough mistakes. I'll do better next time. I'll do better and do worse. I'll do worsely better. Doesn't get any easier. Does it? No.